Okay, turn to Revelation 19, and we're going to do that. I want to, before we read, to kind of recap where we are, because we are at a major turning point, so to speak, in the book of Revelation. We have spent several weeks now, months. It seems like a long time to you, it does to me too. But we have spent all of this time talking about God's judgment on the world. And He has accomplished, in the story, or if you want to call it that, in the account here in Revelation of what is going to happen, He has accomplished His purpose now of judging sin, judging the world, and of giving His people, the Hebrews, every opportunity to recognize Him and turn back to God. He has done that. The entire Bible, the way I look at it, is from Genesis, from the fall of man, when Satan first comes to the earth, clear to the end of Revelation, is one story of God dealing with the enemy and putting him away, and then bringing His people, us, and anyone else who comes to Christ, to Him to dwell forever. Now, why He takes, He's taken 4,000 years so far, or so, or maybe 6, to do this, we'll ask Him someday. I don't know. But this is what He has chosen to do. He is going to make a complete, utter destruction of evil. And that is for our benefit. And even though, we may get weary in this life, waiting for all of this to take place, this is His plan. And when He is finished, the picture that we showed a couple of times in here of where Sodom and Gomorrah used to be, just a level plain of dirt and nothing, okay, that is going to be the sin that has been the thorn in our side our entire life, has been a thorn in the side of man since the fall of Adam. So I'm taking this time to emphasize the importance of this turn of events that we're looking at. We're looking at the end outcome of the entire Bible right here in the switch from chapter 18 to 19 in Genesis, or in Revelation. I made some notes here just to bring them up, and I want to do this before we get into chapter 19. First of all, we should stop and think about all the things that we see as valuable that really aren't. The things we spend our time and our effort and our thinking on right now, most of the things that are on our mind will cease to exist. They will be taken. Our relationship with God and the people that we see come to the Lord will be permanent. But everything else will be destroyed. We just have to kind of ruminate on that and think of the importance of that concept. Okay? It had once seemed profitable to cooperate with the Antichrist. When he comes in power, and we won't be here, the Lord will be gone, but when he comes to power, he will make it look like he has the answer to all the world's problems right now, and people will just flock to him. The way I look at it. We have to be careful of that attitude because it exists in the world today. It many times seems profitable to cooperate a little bit too much with the worldly system, doesn't it?
Amen.
Okay, but the picture that has been drawn in the book of Revelation makes it clear that they are going to be of no value very soon. Very soon. at the most, well, we're just talking about Eunice in 105 years, but many of us will not live that long. And but even at that age, eventually all of the material things are going to be gone. They're all just not a profitable place to put our time and effort. So we need to be cognizant of that. Then I put this down here, kind of the test. Money is sometimes the last thing to surrender to the Lord. For a new Christian or even an old lifelong Christian, it seems that it is the symbol that we want to cling to, that we attach importance to. The love of money is the root of all evil. And
the love of money is a root of all evil.
A root of all evil.
All kinds of evil.
Yeah. But it symbolizes the love of the world, which is the root, if you want to look at it that way.
My dad told me his God was in his wallet.
Yeah. Well, I saw a preacher one time gave a sermon. He said, he picked up his Bible and he says, "Do you know what the most popular book in the world is?" And of course, I went, "Oh, the Bible." He says, "No." He reached his pocketbook and held it up. It is a difficult thing to get away from. Right?
You ever try to outgive God?
You can't. Never tried.
That's a good question.
But the question is, have you actually tried? Is the true question.
Yeah.
Have you actually tried to outgive God?
And I don't know if I'm going to answer that in front of all these people. But I know what you're saying. You, if you do it in faith and the leading of the Holy Spirit, then you can't, and you find that all of your needs are taken care of.
Right. But you can't try to outgive in order to test God and say, "See,
No, that's what I want to get away from. Yeah, the concept of tempting God is is wrong. Just to say, okay, well, you prove it here. Here's all the money I have. That isn't going to get you. Get you anywhere. Yeah. I think any of you that have been around very long, have seen that happen. That if you give in faith with the leading of the Holy Spirit, God will never let His people go hungry. I think we read that verse. Okay, just real quickly, we're still kind of summarizing where we've been because it's important as we look at chapter 19 to really get the concept of what it means to us. We went through through chapter 16. We went through God's judgments, and we went through all of the trials and things. I'm not going to rehash that. But then we come to chapter 17, and I put up there likely occurs midway in the tribulation. Some of you that have studied Revelation, that's pretty much what we assume. Okay. And the spiritual corruption is dealt with in chapter 17. Okay. And the world leaders do not mourn. They don't. They say, okay, well, spiritually we've been destroyed. So what? Okay. Now, one of the fun things in studying Revelation is to look at the world today and see if you see any of these trends really happening. Okay. America is no longer a Christian organization.
Amen.
Yep.
What's that?
It's no longer a superpower either.
No longer a superpower. almost overnight. And you can attribute that to abandoning God and abandoning Israel, maybe. I think that I know Al has brought this up before.
I'm still waiting.
He's still waiting, yeah, to see a former president who blessed Israel be vindicated. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe soon, it may be a long time, but will be. Okay. In Revelation 18, the next chapter, then we talked about, this seems to be occurring at the end of the 7 years tribulation, just before the second coming of Christ. And there, the political and economic system is completely destroyed, and now the world leaders mourn.
You know what I find funny is they still curse God during all this.
Yep.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Isn't that something? When the solution,
I said they still curse God and all this.
the solution is to bless God. Yeah. That is the easy solution. Easy solution.
But what's even funnier, I think, is they curse a God they don't believe in.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. I've always wondered at that. It just doesn't seem right. You don't believe in God, but then you curse Him and blame Him for your problems. Okay, keep moving through here so we get to chapter 19. Babylon is destroyed. Babylon could be just a concept. It could be a city. I kind of believe it will be an actual city that arises, whether it's called Babylon or not. And it will be a center of the government for the Antichrist. He'll set himself up in Jerusalem and then move. But it's not made really clear in the Bible. But we know that it is a concept of a godless government system of worship and social system and political system. It's all wrapped up in this concept of Babylon. Okay, all of this is destroyed now. Okay. The reign of the Antichrist is over. This is what has been accomplished. These things there. There's been several others along with this, but these are some of the main ones that came to mind. Israel has been given every opportunity to turn to God. God's loving kindness never ends, and He gives over and over and over. He has offered to Israel. He drew a picture of His love for Israel in the Old Testament. Those of you that have read through Samuel, Kings, and Chronicles, and even Judges in the Bible, you see that over and over, God blesses His people. They turn their back on Him. He abandons them for a while, but as soon as they repent and come back, He blesses them again. He is reaching out in love.
I think it's Isaiah 6, which really talks about the vineyard that the Lord had or has, and they finally, it goes through the whole thing. They killed his prophet. He sent mercenaries when he came to collect the harvest, and then they killed the servant. Finally, sent his son, and they killed the son, and that's referring to Israel. It's going to be some judgment, but that's a tribulation, great tribulation judgment, particularly on the wrath of Israel, Jacob.
Yeah, right. And I think they clarify that several times in the Old and the New Testament. You killed the prophets I sent. You killed the priests. You killed the godly people. And finally, I sent the best thing I had, the only thing left, my own son. and you killed him. And yet he is still, after that, all through Revelation, all through the tribulation, reaching out to his own people.
Correct myself. Isaiah 5.
Isaiah 5. That'd be a good one to read at home, so it fits in with certainly what we're talking about. So we have destroyed the worldly systems. The reign of the Antichrist is over. Israel has had every opportunity to turn to God. So now the stage is set for Jesus. As we went through this, when we read the cross references in the Old and New Testament, we see, I think, clearly that the whole Bible is aimed at this time. This time. We have in this world overcome. Okay, so now let's go to Revelation 19. Read 1 through 5. After these things, I heard a loud voice of a great multitude, and where is the multitude? In heaven, saying, Alleluia, salvation and glory and honor and power belong to the Lord our God. Now, this is said other places in the Bible before this time. But now, this is the end product. This is it. This is truth. This is God actually does have all the glory and honor and power. Because right now, would you say that God has given all the glory and honor and power in our society today?
No.
No. But he has it. Okay. Here, it's fulfilled. It actually is true. We can sit here and say God is in power. God is honored. Because there will be nobody here to dishonor God. It's really difficult to even think of that concept. We are so used to worshiping God in the midst of a sinful world with the influences all around us that we really can't conceive of what that is going to be like. We could say, well, it's going to be pure joy. And it will be. But maybe we've experienced a lot of joy, but we have never experienced pure joy like we're talking about. Okay, for true and righteous are his judgments, because he has judged the great harlot who corrupted the earth with her fornication. And there he is using that as an example again. It would be, certainly actual fornication, sexual sins was part of it, but that's not what he's referring to directly here. He's talking about people with 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in heaven, so to speak. That won't exist anymore. There won't be any world here to put our foot in. I just can't, it's just more than I can take in. To think about what a wonderful place and time this is going to be when this finally happens.
And it can't be destroyed.
And it will never be destroyed.
Heaven.
No.
Satan
No.
can't touch it.
Everything that can be destroyed is almost destroyed here. We know that the bad people are put away, at least, will be put away. We'll get into that as we go through Revelation a little more. But, okay, he has judged the great harlot who corrupted the earth with her fornication, and he has avenged on her the blood of his servants shed by her. The martyrs. The martyrs are going to have their day, and we can rejoice, and they will rejoice because their blood has been avenged. Again, they say, Alleluia. Her smoke rises up forever and ever. Now, I don't believe that means literal smoke, that when we get this point and forever through the 1,000 years reign of Christ, we'll see a smoke out there from those. I think it's more an illustration of the fact that they will never come back again. The smoke is there, the remnant shows that they are gone. Okay. And the 24 elders and the 4 living creatures, these we talked about several weeks ago, when we described the throne of God that John saw in his vision, and they who worship God who sat on the throne, saying, Amen, Hallelujah. Then a voice came from the throne saying, Praise our God, all you his servants, and those who fear him, both small and great. Okay, compare this up there, point 1, compare this to the previous chapter that we were talking about destruction and despair and so on. That has been done away with all of a sudden. That's why this is such a turning point in history that will happen. And it's such a great day. Some of the attributes of God are mentioned through there. Things that belong to him, salvation, glory, and honor, and power. True and righteous are his judgments. He has avenged the blood of his servants. His smoke rises up. The 24 elders fell down, saying, Hallelujah. Praise God, all you servants who fear him, both small and great. So this is the God that we have been worshiping, and we will see him as he is, and it will be a wonderful time. Just work.
A question on 24 elders, and it's mentioned several different times. As I understand it, it's representing both Old and New Testament saints. Is that what you understand?
Well, that's one of the things I've read, Al, and I'm not going to say that's exactly what it is, but that's where you can come up with 24. Right. You can come up with 24 if you take 12 apostles and 12 prophets or something. There's different ways of coming up with
12 heads of the tribe of Israel.
Is that?
Well, the other 12 for the Old Testament would symbolize the 12 heads of the tribes of Israel.
Yeah, the 12 tribes plus the 12 apostles comes out to 24.
So all the righteous are going to say, praise God and hallelujah. You're doing, God is to be glorified. You did everything right.
Yeah.
Doing everything.
And whether it refers to that exact 24 or not, we know that everyone and everything that worships God is included. That's probably it. Okay. Verse 2, it says, True and righteous are his judgments. He has judged the great harlot. And I put up there, finally. This is true judgment. If all you have to do is watch the news and see faulty judgment, even evil judgment, or non-existent judgment, that is the world system. That system is gone.
We were watching a program last night on the news, and there was a lady on talking about the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court makes a judgment, and half the people like it, and half the people don't like it. But when God makes a judgment, everybody's going to like it.
Yeah, because they'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Good point. Okay, with the smoke we talked about, verse 4 and 5, put those together. Heaven and earth, praise God, together. The earth right now cannot praise God because it belongs to Satan. At this point, heaven and earth together, all of creation praises God. Okay, 6, 7, and 8. And I heard, as it were, the voice of a great multitude, as the sound of many waters, as the sound of mighty thunder, saying, Hallelujah, for the Lord God omnipotent reigns. You remember what omnipotent means?
All powerful.
All powerful. All powerful, yeah. Let us be glad and rejoice and give him glory, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife has made herself ready. And we will go into that a little more detail. We're going to run out of time today, but the marriage is going to be between Christ and his followers, the marriage supper of the Lamb, and the bride is what we are being naturally prepared for. And we'll get into some of the questions like who is going to be in that group. Is it going to be Old Testament saints and New Testament saints, or just New Testament saints and so on? There's some questions that we need to explore and look at. But there will be the final marriage. Now, why does he call it a marriage? Why are we going to be prepared to be married to Jesus?
It's a forever bond.
Yeah, okay. It's a forever lifetime bond to one Savior, and we will be his one bride. He's not. I don't think he's going to have brides on other planets. I think it is us. It is one. This is why the marriage that God instituted on this earth is symbolic of that, and this is why we teach that one man, one wife, forever, a permanent bond. And as someone who has been divorced, I can tell you, it is not God's plan. It really is not. There's nothing good about it, because you are out of his perfect plan for your life. So I can say, thankfully, that God forgives and gives a new start, and that is the basis of the gospel, and we can go forward. But this is the principle. Mike, you had a hand.
I'm just going to say this actually is really similar to the Nazarite wedding, to where the groom comes, snatches his bride away, takes her into the house he prepared for her for 7 days, and then at the end of the 7 days, presents her to the world as his wife. Right here we see God presenting his bride to the world after 7 years.
Maybe we can read about that. If we get into that, we're going to hustle down. But yeah, in all the symbolism, it's amazing all through the Old and New Testaments how it fits together and in the principles that God is trying to instill upon us. Okay. I forgot where I left off. Let us be glad and rejoice and give him glory, for the marriage of the Lamb is gone, and to her it was granted to be arrayed in fine linen, clean and bright. For the fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints, the pure bride presented to Jesus. And we are, when we become saved, we are that pure bride. Our sin is taken away. That would be in the way of us being a pure bride. But it has been dealt with. It's gone. We don't even think about it anymore. It doesn't count anymore. It doesn't matter anymore. Because it has been taken by the blood of Christ. Is that? Oh, excuse me. I think somebody's up there. We are the spotless bride. There will be no evil influences. That again, I just can't imagine what that's going to be like. We have never experienced that in our life, and it will be wonderful. I put down there, this is more than we could wrap our heads around right now. Let's read 1 Corinthians 16. 50 through 58. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God, Nor does corruption inherit incorruption. Okay, we are incapable of fulfilling this. Completely incapable. It can't be done. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall be changed. Okay? So this body is corruptible. We will have a new body that is incorruptible and can be presented as the bride.
That's the sign they have in the nursery.
Yeah.
We won't all sleep, but we'll all be changed.
Yes. Okay? Everybody hear that? She said this is talking about the nursery. We won't all sleep, but we'll all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, for the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on incorruption, this mortal must put on immortality. So when this corruptible has put on corruption, and this mortal has put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying as is written, death is swallowed up in victory. That is what we're looking forward to, and again, it is only the miraculous work of God in the sacrifice of Jesus. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this wonderful plan that you have outlined for us, and as we go into more detail over the next few weeks, we just pray that you'd make it clear to us what you would have us do and what kind of people you would have us to be in anticipation of the wonderful changes that you have coming. Pray that you'd be with each person here, dismiss us with your blessing, and be with Pastor in the next service. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen. I will be gone next week